Hi, today we are going to explain the storyline of a film called School of Rock, which was released back in 2003. Alright, so here's the storyline.
Let's get rockin'!
The film begins by showing a man named Dewey Finn with his rock band performing at a club. It seemed that Dewey's action was too excessive, so his friends didn't seem to like it. The next day, Ned Schneebly and his girlfriend named Patty charged Dewey rent for a place to live because all this time they had lived in the same apartment, and only Ned always paid the rent. It made Patty angry. Patty said that if until the end of the week Dewey could not pay the rent, then he had to leave the place.
Please! Okay, for you.
Dewey then went to the band's studio where his bandmates were practicing. When he got there, Dewey saw another man he didn't know. The man was named Spider, and how surprised Dewey heard from Theo that Dewey had been kicked out of their band. Theo and his other bandmates felt that Dewey was embarrassing, while they wanted to be serious about participating and winning the battle of the band's competition. Dewey looked very annoyed and swore to Theo that they will regret it.
I'm gonna form my own band, and we are gonna start a revolution.
Due to the difficulty of making ends meet, Dewey finally intended to sell his guitar. When the phone rang, Dewey picked up the phone that was supposed to be for Ned. The call was from Principal Horace Green, a leading elementary school that needed Ned as a substitute teacher at the school. Seeing the opportunity, Dewey decided to disguise himself as Ned and agreed to the offer to become a substitute teacher.
Hello, this is Ned Schneebly.
The next morning, Dewey was at school and introduced himself to the students as Mr. S. The principal who accompanied him reminded Dewey to maintain etiquette while at school.
Just call me Mr. S.
When in class, Dewey, who was inexperienced as a teacher, asked all students in his class to relax and not study. Summer, as the class president, felt that this was not true and told Dewey that the previous substitute teacher would teach them some vocabulary. However, Dewey didn't seem to care about the schedule and kept asking the whole class to lazily relax.
Go, play and have fun now!
School hours had ended, and Dewey was so enthusiastic to leave school. After school, Dewey passed some brochures on the recruitment of rock band members, which seemed to get a bad response from the people around him. Dewey, who was desperate to find a bandmate, invited Ned to join his band as was in the past, but Ned refused and asked Dewey to give up on rock band.
Dewey, I'm not a satanic sex god anymore.
Back in Horace Green, the students in Dewey's class were just silent and bored. They asked if Dewey would give a lesson, and as usual Dewey just asked them to rest. Dewey, who felt tired because of the problem of the rock band that never got members and requested lessons from his students, began to vent his anger on the whole class.
Because the world is run by the man.
It didn't feel like at 10 a.m. the students in Dewey's class had to move to music class, and when Dewey saw his students playing musical instruments, he discovered his talent and started bringing all his musical instruments into the classroom. Dewey, who was very enthusiastic to see his students playing musical instruments, asked them to come forward to the front of the class and play musical instruments. Starting from Zach, who holds the guitar, then Lawrence, who plays the piano, Katie plays bass, and Freddie as the drummer.
G, good, stop.
Since several students had already joined the band, Dewey began to think of other positions so that all his students could participate in the school project, which he called the rock band.
Yes! Yes!
Dewey also urges his students not to tell their parents because this project is confidential. He also said that this project is a project that can improve their learning ability, even though the real fact is that this project will be brought to the battle of the band's event.
Mr. Schneebly?
Yeah?
During lunchtime, Lawrence approached Dewey. He told Dewey that he felt he didn't deserve to be in the band because it wasn't cool. Dewey encourages Lawrence that Lawrence's piano playing is very good and many people will like it. Hearing those words, Lawrence again felt able to participate in the project. After lunch, Dewey gathered all students in a line and began to distribute roles to each student. Some students became band players, then others became background singers. Dewey also divided the roles among several students to start preparing band equipment, and also the classrooms were converted into soundproof rooms.
Maybe even lasers and smoke machines.
All the students had committed to Dewey to start working on this project, and they all started cheering.
Let's get rockin'!
The next day, Summer protested to Dewey because the role of Summer had inappropriate meaning. Dewey rethinks what role Summer is appropriate for, and finally he decides to make Summer the band manager. In class, all students started to listen to Dewey explaining some things they had to prepare before starting the project, but unfortunately, the students in Dewey class did not have any knowledge about rock music.
Oh, what are they teaching this place?
They also started questioning how their subjects were doing, Dewey telling them not to worry about grades. While in the canteen, Dewey asked Principal Ms. Rosalie if it was possible of his to invite his students to do a case study. However, Ms. Rosalie did not agree to this because it was related to security and the approval of the student's guardian. Then Ms. Rosalie introduced Dewey to the other teachers.
Yeah, now real. Tighten up the screws, okay?
After school hours ended, Dewey distributed homework to the students, namely they had to listen to and learn things about rock music.
Jimi Hendrix acts as bold as love, dude.
Tamika said that she didn't want to be a roadie, she said that she wanted to be a singer. How surprised Dewey heard Tamika's voice, and finally Dewey decided Tamika to join in singing. The next day when he arrived at school, Dewey saw Zach being scolded by his father for continuing to play guitar. Then in class Dewey also saw Zach who looked sad, so Dewey started asking what things made his students feel annoyed and made them sing.
So now I'm really ticked off.
This time the class was so much fun and they all enjoyed the class taught by Dewey. When it was lunchtime, Dewey gathered with other teachers. It was seen that the teachers at Horace Green were starting to like Dewey. One time Principal Ms. Rosalie met Freddie in the classroom hallway. Ms. Rosalie was surprised by Freddie's appearance, who was like a punk child, and asked Freddie to improve his appearance. In the teacher's room, Ms. Rosalie announces to the others that they are getting ready for the annual Horace Green event, which is a gathering night with parents where the teachers have to present their performance to the parents. Although previously Dewey had been forbidden to take his students on field trips, this time Dewey took some of his students away from school. Dewey took them to the Battle of the Bands audition, but in the crowd of the audition suddenly Freddie disappeared. Dewey panicked and finally found Freddie playing cards with several other audition participants. He scolded Freddie for hanging out with people he did not know. When returning to the audition room, Dewey asked the committee why they had not been called, and it turned out that the audition had ended. Feeling frustrated, Dewey vented his anger because their band was underestimated. Their band, which was initially not accepted, was finally accepted thanks to the idea of Summer. Dewey told the committee that his students were critically ill and that appearing in the Battle of the Band was their greatest wish.
We're on the bill.
Arriving at school, they had the idea to make the band's name the School of Rock. School hours are over, and Dewey has an idea to invite Ms. Rosalie to drink coffee together. At first Ms. Rosalie thought they would drink coffee with Dewey, but the reality is that they drink beer. Then Dewey played a favorite song of Ms. Rosalie. This was done so that Ms. Rosalie would allow Dewey to take the students out, which he would later bring to the band competition. He finally got permission from his school principal. After returning from the cafe, Ms. Rosalie said to Dewey that this was the first time a teacher had asked Ms. Rosalie out. She pours out her boring feelings while being the principal at Horace Green. The next day the School of Rock continued to practice because the band competition was getting closer. Dewey was surprised by a new song written by Zach, and they all liked Zach's song. One day before the concert started, Dewey encouraged all his students. Dewey also reminded Ms. Rosalie about the permission that she previously gave. However, Ms. Rosalie panicked and asked Dewey to accompany her on Parents' Night, and Dewey agreed.
Done.
Okay.
All right.
Before Dewey leaves, Ned finds out the truth about Dewey pretending to be him. Then the scene changed when Dewey presented his performance at Parents' Night. He seemed confused in explaining the performance, and also Dewey was urged by the students' parents because during Dewey teaching the children only discussed things about rock music. Dewey, who was increasingly desperate, finally admitted that he was not Ned Schneebly. Ms. Rosalie was surprised. There were also police officers and Ned with his girlfriend.
What?
The next day Dewey fought with Ned and his girlfriend. Ned said that maybe Dewey should give up on music. Then the scene changes when the whole class misses Dewey and asks many things about the School of Rock project. Meanwhile, the parents of the students protested in front of Ms. Rosalie. When they were busy protesting, the students ran away and got into the school bus. They picked up Dewey, who was currently in the apartment. Dewey, who finally got on the bus, apologized for taking advantage and lying to them. They had all arrived at the competition site, and although it was almost late, they still had time. Dewey encouraged them and convinced them that they should use this opportunity not to win but to prove their hard work. At school, parents are still protesting because the school employs teachers like Dewey. Then a teacher came and told her that the students were not in her class.
That all of your children are missing.
Finally, they went to a place where their children would perform and participate in watching their children's performance.
And this song was written by our own Zach.
The School of Rock performed with a song composed by Zach, as well as a complete costume made by them. Previously the parents were upset, now they are amazed by the abilities of their children. At the end of the performance, they were given very lively applause for the unique performance of the School of Rock. The scene changes to the announcement of the winner of the Battle of the Bands, and it turns out that the winner of this competition is another band and not the School of Rock. However, many viewers called the name the School of Rock because they felt they were the ones who deserved to be the winner. Even though the School of Rock didn't win, the audience asked them to perform one more time. At the end of the film, Dewey establishes an after-school program which is a program to learn rock music. And the film School of Rock ended.